We are here. We are gathered here today for our first ever Ask Us Anything. If you're listening, likely know me at varying degrees of intimacy. But I'm joined today, as I will be every month, by Ms. Katie O'Malley. Katie and I met a year ago, October 2022. The setting was the Union League Club. I on stage, Katie at the speaker's table in the audience, a longtime member of the organization, the Professional Women's Club of Chicago. Shout out to them because, look, networking, as Katie often says, is a little too transactional, and PWCC just does a great job. So Katie was in the audience. I sat at the table with you, friend. You looked phenomenal, first of all. You can't see Katie right now. She's wearing earrings that... are a conversation piece no matter what are they called? What's this like style called? Cloud?
They're like a cloud earring.
Yeah, I love it. I asked her out or she asked me out. How would you say it?
Well, you invited me to ask you out. You said, I would love to get coffee sometime. Email me. So I did.
You did. You took that step. We met at, what's that place called?
Revival Food Hall over
Good
on
memory.
South Clark.
And we talked. My wallet had got stolen after you left, actually. I remember that day.
You never told me that.
I didn't?
No.
Someone ran a scam on me. You know when we were where we were sitting by the records?
Yes.
Two guys come into Revival. I'm talking with a friend. They pull a record out, and they're like, oh, they turn it to me. You know, they were kind of making a lot of noise. They're just like jovial. Turned it to me. They're like, one of them says, have you ever listened to this? Like, look at this, you know? And as I'm looking at the record, the other one's reaching in my open purse. Look, right? Anyway, it's all replaceable. I have a much cuter driver's license photo now.
And it's those pieces that are the most maddening to me. Take the money, take the stuff, but don't make me go to the DMV again, dude. Like, can you leave the license?
And I had to go. I couldn't do it online. Anyway, minor inconvenience, but we met that day. We hugged. We took our first Ussie. And that was the beginning. So here we are now. Hi, Katie. Let's introduce you. What's important for people to know before we give them answers to burning questions?
Oh, my goodness. Things that are important to know about me. I think the first thing to know is I'm very energetic and enthusiastic. And it's something, Emily, I think that you picked up on while I was sitting in the audience as you were up on stage speaking. And it's something that I have both a lot of pride in for moving through the world in this way. And I am not so great at monitoring my energy. And so that is the other thing that I'm working on. While I'm energetic and enthusiastic, I'd like to have some more consistency in my energy throughout the day. But those two qualities, I think, have really differentiated me in different parts of my career. I've been a bit of a career nomad since leaving college in 2004, working in the political arena, nonprofit sector, corporate sector, education sector, until I finally struck out on my own to build my own coaching practice, coaching business, where we really work to get folks who are underrepresented at the director, VP, C-suite level into the rooms where decisions are being made. And when I say underrepresented, I should say underrecognized, because there just isn't representation where it matters. And so the goal of Encourage Coaching being, how do we get more women, people of color, LGBTQ folks into rooms where decisions are being made? Because until there's representation at the top, there's never going to be joy and justice for 99% of workers in the world. And that's how it started. And 5 years later, we're not just working with individuals, but startups, small businesses, all kind of grounded in my education and training in mental health. And so just so excited that we have that knowledge base, that domain knowledge that connects us, but also a perspective that does too, and values that I know we share.
Mm-hmm. Yeah. So if you don't know, now you know why I love Katie O'Malley. and why I said yes. And, our relationship continues to progress. Onward, upward. This is a saying Katie taught me. Forward is our pace. You're just a beacon. Okay. Are you ready to answer a question?
I am ready to answer a question. I'm so excited to see what it is we're talking about.
Yeah, me too. We're starting this as a new thing. We're not sure what it's going to become, but we get a lot of questions. Sometimes when Katie's on stage doing a keynote, you get a question from a room of 1,000 people. Sometimes in, individual leadership coaching sessions, you get a question one-on-one and you're like, I'm glad this is just the two of us, right? So we're hoping to unearth some of those just the two of us questions anonymously in service of helping more people. Here we go. Dear Emily and Katie, one of my very best friends from growing up has become really successful in her field. She also happens to be married to a man with a lot of money. This is not my situation. Our lives are looking pretty different these days, despite the fact that we're the same age, we both have kids, and we live in the same city. Here's my problem. When I'm with her, I'm crippled by envy and an inferiority complex, and it makes me act weird. I know this feeling. I don't like this part of myself, and I don't feel like she's doing anything directly to make me feel this way. So it's like a me problem. How on earth do I snap out of it?
Yeah.
Relatable, OMG.
100%. And relatable still, and not even that long ago. I think the way our society is set up and the social economic stratification in society, there's always the opportunity to feel that way. And I so appreciate the self-awareness from this individual being able to say, oh, I get this is an inside job for me to work through, not something to problem solve with my friend.
Yes. What comes up for me, so much, but I think, I so relate to this last part. How on earth do I snap out of it? Like, were it so easy, right? What I think about is, well, you don't. It's not all at once. And I know people, when you ask us questions like this, you're probably going to want us to tell you exactly what to do. And I'd say probably 10 times out of 10 we won't, but we're going to try and give you a way to think about it and a step to take.
100%.
And to normalize, like, me too, Okay, so how on earth do I snap out of it? What I love that inherent in this question, this person, you already said it, has mentioned self-awareness. And in that has mentioned that there's a part of them that they don't like. And what comes up for me is Dr. Richard Schwartz, the founder of Internal Family Systems Psychotherapy Model. He talks about parts. He even has a book called There Are No Bad Parts. Actually, it's just No Bad Parts. And so I think this person is right. You're right. You're doing great. Like, thinking of yourself as having different parts. And just like with any system, there's parts that you're more familiar with and love more and are more attached to. Then for me, here's a part of me that I'm not a super fan of, but I'm learning to accept it and gradually integrate it in my life. I get angry and I can feel it in my body and my face gets hot, and it doesn't happen often, but when it happens, I go offline. And like, I've had to really be like, whoa. No, the answer isn't stuff that down. It's, and here's step one. Here's step one for you, question asker. And you've done it, which is identify it. Like, what is this?
Yeah.
And even identifying a feeling, it could be a number of feelings, right? But identifying it, and then you can understand it. So I want to say to the question asker, you're doing a great job.
Yes.
You named it. You've identified it. The next step is like understanding it, which is what we're here to do, is to help you understand what you're feeling. What do you think about that, Katie?
Yeah, with you 100% on the willingness to see this is a part of them and not their whole self. And when you talk about the identification of the emotion, what comes up for me is actually another question, which is it envy or is it jealousy? Because these are two different things. And so when we are talking about envy, what's really coming up there, what the emotion actually is telling us, is that we don't want the other person to have that if we can't have it too.
I'm getting my pen.
That's envy versus jealousy, which is, oh my gosh, that person has something I want and I want it too. And the question then that comes up for me is, what is it that you want that your friend has? Is it the money, or is it some of the things that money tends to provide, like flexibility, access, an ability to feel more secure? And if you're able to generate a list of what it is she has that the money provides, it might give you some more clarity for ways that you can gain or achieve or move towards those things in your own life without necessarily having the financial resources be what you're striving for. Because I don't always know that that is what it is.
Yeah. Can you say again, envy versus jealousy?
Yeah, so jealousy can be really helpful for us. Jealousy says, and this is actually from Brene Brown, straight out of Atlas of the Heart, which gives us, I think it's something like 86 different emotions out of kind of the 5 core emotions that we tend to feel. But jealousy is looking at someone and saying, oh my gosh, they have something I want, and I want that too. Envy is saying, oh my gosh, that person has something that I don't have and I don't want them to have it, or they don't deserve to have it.
That hurt my heart a little bit to hear it.
And that's not what I'm hearing from this writer at all.
Yeah, I'm crippled by it. It makes me act weird. Part of me, I love the practice of if there's a feeling, like giving it a voice, like what is it saying? What kind of things is it saying, right? I think that might help someone identify envy versus jealousy. And then I want to also say, like, societally, right? Like there's a lot at play here. Of what you see. I always like the phrase, don't compare your insides to someone else's outsides, right?
Yeah.
It's unfair, to yourself. So yeah, this parts piece I think is really important, naming it and identifying it. So getting clear on what the feelings could be. And then we move into acceptance of it. Let's talk about that not being a once and done. If you identify it as jealousy, how do you accept that you have a part of you that's jealous of people?
For me, when I feel jealous, and like we said, this person has something that I want, they deserve it, but I want it too. It's figuring out, for me, the acceptance comes from, okay, I know I want this. One, it's okay to want this.
Yes.
Especially, I don't know the gender identity of our writer, but especially for women, just being able to name what we want can be hard to accept because we're told to not want. We're told to give and support and socialized in that way. So one, it's okay to have wants and it's okay to have needs, but what can you do to get yourself closer to having that for yourself too? And again, it's not necessarily the money. What is the thing that you want that the money enables this person to have? And what are the things that you can do in your life with, and not on your own, with the support of your spouse, the support of your friends and your network and your community to make that a reality for you as well. That's what comes up for me. Acceptance is once we accept that we want it, it's okay, and we can start making moves towards it, which gives us a sense of self-efficacy that we can do this.
So you can't snap out of it. Wish you could. Everyone wants a ripcord. Just pull it and I'm out of here. But yeah, step 1, identify. Step 2, understand really this piece of like, what is this that I'm feeling? Get to know all these rich emotional words, right? Developing emotional fluency. You'll have to help me with who's the psychologist who talks about emotional fluency?
Susan Cain.
Is it Susan Cain?
No, it's Susan David. Susan David.
She's South
Shout out
African.
to Sue and David.
Thank you. And then accepting it. And then the last step is integrating. And I think I have an example of this with you.
Oh my goodness, tell me more.
Yeah.
I'm excited to hear this.
So there's a part of me that I would love to snap out of and not feel this way, a me problem, so to speak, where when I have to confront someone, I avoid it. And especially if anger and disappointment are very vulnerable emotions for me to share with anyone, because I feel it puts me in a vulnerable position. Like, you can see me, you can see I'm not perfect. And there was a time early on in our relationship where I was disappointed in something that happened. What's funny is I cannot even remember what it was now.
Oh, I remember.
Oh, well, okay, you remember. I don't remember. Let that say something.
Yeah.
But I remember the feeling. Yes, here's the feeling I really remember. It's like in my cellular, this is integration. It's in my cellular body now. When I shared with you that I was disappointed, I felt freedom. I felt love. I felt generosity. I felt kindness toward myself for saying it, and kindness toward you, not for how you received it. I couldn't control that, but that you were available to hear it. As our relationship deepens and anyone's relationship deepens, like, pay attention to that. Can you be integrated with the person in front of you that you're partnering with in any variety of ways?
Yeah.
Are they like, got it, I got all the parts and I'm not going anywhere, So thank you for that.
Oh my gosh, you are welcome. And can I share what it was?
Yeah, by all means. I literally do not remember.
So I had made a commitment to attending the TCA 10-year anniversary party, had an opportunity to dog sit for 10 days in New York City, agreed to that without checking my calendar, because there's usually not a whole lot on my calendar on the weekends. And then I saw it overlapped. And I remember when I told you, I could kind of see the disappointment. And it wasn't until a few days later that you brought it up. And I was so glad that you did, because to me, that communicated you trusted me to be able to receive what it was you were feeling and to hold that space and to react in a reasonable way. And for me to also say, you know what, I let you down. I did this. It was not intentional, but the intent is different than the impact that it had. And it also showed me that how the role that I play in your life actually matters to you, because you were taking the time to be vulnerable, to express that disappointment. And it was one of the first times that I felt like this is a meaningful relationship that really matters if someone's willing to take that risk and put that out there.
As we're talking and I'm buzzing now, right? Like, all that dopamine's flowing. It's great. We can end with this. What do you make of this writer, question asker, potentially sharing how he or they feel with this person?
Again, this goes
pros
back
and cons.
to pros and cons. We're not going to tell you what to do.
No.
But why are you sharing this? And getting clear on why you're sharing it. Is it for you? Is it for them? Is it for something else? It's okay to do things for you. It's not selfish, but the outcome, I'm sure, is not, hey, friend, give me more money, or hey, friend, can you earn a little bit less? Can your husband earn a little bit less? But it could be, help me understand how you access these things that I realized I want to, that aren't, again, necessarily related to that financial component. The why you do something is what matters, because you're never going to be able to control the outcome. So pros, I think it could draw them closer together instead of the writer potentially starting to isolate and remove themselves from the situation. Cons, and this, again, it depends on the emotional fluency and agility of your friend to be able to receive that, not as a detrimental quality or derailing quality for the relationship, but recognizing it as, I'm asking for your help and trying to figure out all of these different aspects. That's
Yeah.
what comes up for me.
I love that. And I would say the part that leads me, I'm not saying what you should do, but it would encourage you to explore once you've identified, understood, and accepted, like feel a little gentle toward yourself about it. Like Katie, you said, it's normal to feel this way. Of course. Like you're not a pariah because you feel jealous. The part that I'm honing in on that gets me into this integration piece and potentially having, we heal together, right? So our central nervous systems need each other. Dr. Schwartz has a book about this too, bringing internal family systems into your partnerships. One of your very best friends, right? Shit's weird. You're feeling a little put off. You're crippled by envy. I don't know if the superlatives are real, but right? If this is really affecting your life,
enough to reach out to us with the question.
Right? Yeah. Part of me wants to say, don't be afraid of it, move toward it. And here's what I would say. Let's just call this person Rosalind. Rosalind, I love you. I'm so happy for you and your hubby. And I'm jealous. And I've done this work around identifying that that's what the feeling is and trying to understand it. And I've even moved into acceptance a little bit. But the last thing I want is for our relationship to have distance or weirdness. And so I just want you to know it comes from a place of, I want it too. I want what you have. And I admire how you've gotten there. And maybe you can help me think about what was your pathway and how has it been hard or how has it been easy for you? And just have this conversation around, prosperity and freedom, because that's what I've realized is really important to me.
Oh my God, you're so good. You're so good. And that's such a vulnerable thing to do, but it's that vulnerability that deepens connection instead of driving them apart from not talking about it.
Yeah. Be honest. Be honest and kind, clear and kind. We talk about, all the time.
All the time.
Well, I hope we've helped. I feel helped. It wasn't even my question. And if you're interested in submitting a question and having Katie and I have some conversation about it, you can visit us at Who's Missing Podcast. Submit, DM, follow, comment. We're watching. And we love you guys. Thanks for listening. Stay kind to yourself and others. All right, over and out.